From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, happy Thursday evening to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. Let's take a look at our weather headlines. We've got rain, wind, and mountain snow. It arrives as early as tonight. But of course, the main event will be Friday morning. We've also got snow that could lead to chain requirements here for tomorrow morning. There's also a flood advisory that's been issued here for the Sacramento Valley and the foothills. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail a little bit later. And we've got this unsettled weather pattern most likely through next week. All right, so here's a look at Krueger's quickcast for those of you who just want a quick forecast for tonight and what you can expect here for tomorrow. All right, let's start with tonight. Temperatures are going to be much warmer in many areas. Now, it's still cold. I mean, we're still below freezing in many of the mountain locations, but it's not the single digits. It's not the teens. It's all thanks to the overcast skies and, of course, the precipitation we're seeing out there. Upper 30s, around 40 for the valley, and looks like in the low 40s for places out along the coast. Out the door tomorrow morning, a little wet for some of us. The coast in particular, Trinity County. The valley will be looking at showers. Modoc County, you know what, it's not showing any rain there, but there could be some. And of course, the eastern mountains as well. That's just about 8 o'clock in the morning. And of course, we'll continue that here through the morning hours and even into the afternoon. Temperatures, as you can see, quite cold, so that could lead to snow for some of the mountain locations. So you can kind of see the series of storms. An area of low pressure right here we've been talking about. Another one developing right back here. That nice atmospheric river, and it's aiming right at Northern California. All right, let's take a look at Futurecast, at least through tomorrow. So here's today at 6 o'clock. The rain is approaching. By midnight tonight, most of the rain is still on the coast, and then by 6 a.m. we're starting to see that rain begin to move in. You'll see here, the leading edge is just making its way off to the east here, but yeah, rain will be moderate to heavy at times. Chain requirements may be a possibility, maybe even for places like I-5 near Mount Shasta City, and of course east of I-5 as well. Doesn't look so bad on Buckhorn at Summit, but on Highway 36, you may run into some chain requirements. Now, as we go through the day on Friday, look what happens. It begins to break apart. So I think the heaviest rain and snow will be through the morning, and then through the afternoon, it begins to subside. And snow levels will probably start to increase a little bit here as well. Then by Friday night, this is that next system that's going to be coming in from the south and working its way into Friday night and Saturday morning with more rain and higher elevation snow. Now the winds are something we need to talk about as well. Very gusty out towards central Siskiyou County. We can see gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. See some very strong winds here for parts of the coast as well. Slight chance for maybe a power outage for some of those higher elevations and along the coast. Now, through the afternoon, the winds actually pick up for the valley and to the east, but they start to die down off to the west. And then for Friday night, still a little gusty, still breezy even for your Saturday, but I think the strongest winds will be on Friday. All right, so here's your forecast for Friday. Temperatures are going to be right around the upper 40s to about 50 in the valley, so it's going to be cooler out there. You've got 40s, 30s and 40s for the higher elevations, and it looks like the coast will be looking at temperatures somewhere in the low to mid 50s. All right, so let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for the valley. This is all updated here, and this is what we've got going on. Here you can see for Friday, there's the rain. Basically, we've got off and on chances for rain all the way through Wednesday at least. Then on Thursday, Friday, we're starting to see some chances for rain in there, but it looks like at least through the middle of next week, but it could last a little bit longer. I want to show you the snow levels. They're going to start off around 3,000 feet, rise by the second half of the day tomorrow, 5,000 feet and higher by Saturday, Sunday. Some cooler air moves in. And with the potential for showers coming in next week, we've got some colder air moving in. Could Weaverville, could Hayfork see some snowflakes? That's not out of the question by Tuesday, Wednesday. Still a long ways out, still a lot of ironing out the details, but there is that potential. And you can see those lower snow levels for places like Mount Shasta. I think you can see some snow there. Altura seeing the lower snow levels, as well as Susanville. All right, that is a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. Before we get to the deeper dive, do want to remind you that there is a free Weather NorCal app if you don't have it already. And if you do, tell your friends, tell your family. If you're out and about, you're talking to a friend of yours, and you start talking about the weather, you say, hey, did you know Mike Krueger's doing his own thing at Weather NorCal? And they say, no, I didn't. You say, hey, check this out. You pull out your phone, show them the app, show them, download the app, and before you know it, they're enjoying Weather NorCal just like you are from the free Weather NorCal app. If you don't have it already, go to your app store, search for Weather NorCal, download it for free today. Check it out. I always say this too. If you don't like it, then you can just take it off your phone. But I think you'll like it. All right, so again, here it is. Storm number 1, storm number 2. This is what's coming in on Friday. This is what's coming in over the weekend. And that nice subtropical moisture, of course, that atmospheric river. That's what we've got going on. There's that flow, area of low pressure here. That's what's coming in for tomorrow. That's what's coming in for the weekend. Now, the positioning of this atmospheric river is something we've got to watch. And I got to tell you, it looks like it's going to be mainly pointing down towards the south of us, which we'll get into that here as we look at that atmospheric river. But first, let's start with Futurecast. Let's walk you through the timing of all this. So midnight tonight, you've got the first band of rain beginning to move in. It's a pretty heavy rainfall out towards places like Del Norte, northern Humboldt County, your typical spots that are seeing the heaviest rainfall. Now, we still have a very dry atmosphere, so a lot of what we're seeing here may not even be reaching the ground. But, you know, maybe a sprinkle or two at this point to the east of all of this. Then we go into tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Now, the thing is, Mount Shasta City is kind of in that borderline where that snow level is. So, if it's just cold enough and it's just heavy enough, we could be looking at snow accumulating on I-5, which would mean the potential for chain requirements there. Now, I do feel pretty confident that we will be looking at chain requirements most likely on Highway 89. There's a look at Highway 299 West. It looks mainly like rain. You do have some frozen precipitation there on Highway 36. And of course, as we typically see, most of it's off to the east of I-5. So there'll probably be chain requirements in that area. But look at the noon hour. You see what's happening. It's beginning to break apart, but we're still seeing that snow. So we've got to watch for that. And Mount Shasta City could be looking at accumulating snow. That's not out of the question. But you see how it's breaking apart and it's turning over to scattered showers. Even more so by the second half of the day on Friday, breaking apart. Then as we go into Friday night and Saturday morning, we see that next batch of moisture. Remember I was showing you storm number 1 and storm number 2? Well, here's storm number 2 coming on in. So this is 6 a.m. on Saturday. Widespread rain, steady rainfall to start off the day. Snow is still out there, but it's going to be higher, probably somewhere around 4,000 to 5,000 feet. So I-5 for the most part should be okay. Highway 299, Highway 36 West. To the east, though, some of the higher mountain passes, you may be dealing with some Saturday morning chain requirements. And this is when we start to see the potential for some of that flooding. Now look at this. Here's noon on Saturday. I'm going to have to disagree a little bit with this. I think it might be a little too aggressive pushing this to the south. I think we could be looking at least some light shower activity, at least in these areas, maybe a chance for some drier conditions for the coast for the second half of the day on Saturday. But I think this is just too much. And then you can see as we go into Saturday evening, you see how it mainly stays to the south. And that may be the case. I think we'll see heavier rainfall in this area, but it's not out of the question to still see some showers, probably still kind of lingering in this area here. All right, so that's what it looks like through Saturday night. Let's take a look at the snow. And you can see, I think this is a pretty good representation. Mount Shasta could possibly see 2 to 4 inches of snow once all is said and done. Now, this is stopping at noon on Friday. Notice, as we progress through time, Mount Shasta doesn't see any more snow. That's because snow levels are rising by the time we get into Saturday. But we could still see some snow out towards Chester. Maybe a light dusting towards Susanville, Quincy. Now, I will say this. Alturas, not out of the question to see a little bit of snow. Fall River Mills, not out of the question to maybe see a light dusting of snow. Bernie, it's borderline where that snow level is. I think at best, you'll probably see a rain-snow mix, but most likely not accumulating snow. But, you know, Mother Nature always has a way of surprising us. Weaverville, Hayfork, I don't think so. I think you're just too low in elevation. I don't think it's going to happen there. And of course, nothing in the valley, obviously. So that's what it's looking like through Saturday night with the snow. Let's take a look at the forecast road conditions. Here's 5 a.m. Friday. Still looks okay on I-5, but there's Highway 44 towards Bogard Ranger Station. We may start to see the snow piling up there a little bit here, but there's Highway 299 and Highway 36 West. So 5 a.m. Friday morning still looks okay. Let's take you to 8 o'clock in the morning. Look what's happening. We're seeing frozen precipitation on I-5 and on Highway 89. For all intents and purposes, that's basically going to be snow, and that could lead to chain requirements in that area. There's a look at Cedar Pass. Maybe some snow up there, still around Bogard Ranger Station. We're beginning to see it fill up a little bit more off to the east here. Buckhorn Summit right here. Looks okay, doesn't it? Highway 299 looks okay. Highway 36 at this point looks okay. And we take you into about the noon hour. Again, it's not showing much. Highway 36 may see some chain requirements tomorrow morning. I think for the most part we'll be okay on Highway 299 West. But even at noon, there may be still some frozen precipitation on I-5, Highway 89, and of course off to the east. But here's the bottom line. I can show you this all day long. It's not always going to be 100% accurate. So here's what I need you to do. If you have to travel tomorrow morning in the mountains, here's a really cool resource that I've made for you on weathernorcal.com. So go to weathernorcal.com, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see where it says road conditions. Click right there. I have got, at a quick glance, all of the popular road cameras from Caltrans, and you can very quickly, at a quick glance, see where the snow is on the mountain highways. You also have a link to Quick Maps for Caltrans, and that's where you can see where the chain requirements are. It's a great resource. I highly recommend it. Bookmark it. Tell your friends. It's a great resource for just a quick look at the road conditions. Speaking of snow, how about the ski park? Look at this. Through Saturday night, I think the ski park could pick up 1 to 2 feet of snow, especially around the base, and of course maybe a little bit more than that out at the summit. Isn't that nice? All right, so here's the Climate Prediction Center looking at our rainfall. Wetter than normal as we look at the long range. This is expected, and this is very good news. So here's a look at our atmospheric river tracker here. This is where all the moisture is, a little less, but this is really where the main band of moisture is. That's, of course, as we go into Friday, right? Now, I want to point something out. The core of this moisture is mainly pointed to our south, but we're kind of on the outer fringe of it. That's why we're still seeing the showers on Friday. You see how it's kind of this area right here, but this is really where the most concentration of that moisture is. So I think that's where we're going to see most of the rain is down to our south, even on Friday. Now there's Saturday morning. It pushes a little bit more to the north, but again, look where the concentration is. It's over central California, making its way to Sacramento. We're at the kind of northern fringe of it, but we're still seeing the rain Saturday morning. There you can see Saturday 5 p.m. See how we're still seeing that precipitation, but it's still mainly aimed just to our south. Okay, then we go into Sunday. There it is. You see how it's starting to slowly shift to the south, but I still think we can see some rain on Sunday. Monday, we start to see it tilt this direction. Why? Because this area of low pressure here is doing this. It's pushing to the south, and as a result, it's taking this and tilting it back up in this direction. Now, this is fairly weak, but it's giving us a better chance for some more rain on Monday. But I do anticipate that by Tuesday, Wednesday, that atmospheric river shifts down to the south. It's very weak at this point, and I don't anticipate any more atmospheric rivers through the rest of next week. Now, this one we'll have to watch around, say, Friday of next week, but still off and on chances for some light showers. So I think really the main event is going to be tomorrow, this weekend, and Monday. After that, we start to see our chances kind of start to drop off a little bit here. Now, I want to show you the atmospheric river impact. Category 1 is the weakest. Category 5 is the strongest. Now, this is looking at, you may have seen this when you're seeing hurricane coverage. They call it the spaghetti plots, where they show several different forecast models and you have all these lines all over the place. Kind of the same concept that we're seeing here. What it's doing is taking these different forecast models. You can see the one that's showing the most aggressive and the one that's the weakest. Kind of the gray area is kind of in between all of the models. So really we want to kind of go somewhere in the center of that. So where are we for the most part? We are for the most part in the area of blue. Blue, when we look at what the AR1 represents, it basically represents primarily beneficial rainfall. When you start getting into the green, which we didn't see any of that, that's a balance of beneficial and hazardous conditions. So that's when we start getting concerned about flooding, mudslides, debris flows. But here's one little catch with this. If we're in atmospheric river 1 for a long period of time, say several hours, maybe even going into a full day, 2 days long, 3 days long, that rain can accumulate over time. So even though it's not the strongest of atmospheric rivers, it can still eventually have an impact in the form of the potential for some flooding. So as a result, with the rain that we're expecting, the National Weather Service has issued for all of, actually this is not part of it, but there you can, this is actually the Storm Prediction Center. This is where we're seeing the best potential for flooding. And then on Saturday. So what we were just looking at was, let's take you back to Friday. There it is. Now we're going to take you into Saturday. See where it is? Remember when we were looking at Futurecast, he was showing most of the rain shifting down to the south. So I think that's where the heaviest rainfall will be. I mean, we could still see some showers, as I mentioned here on Saturday, but most of it and the heavier rainfall will be to the south. And as a result, we've got even better chances down into central and southern Butte County. This could mean the Park Fire, mudslide debris flows. That could be a bit of a concern. But remember I was showing you the atmospheric river tracker? Remember I was showing you it was mostly kind of aimed at central California, around Bay Area, Sacramento. Look where it is. Look where the best potential for flooding is. It's down to our south. That's where the main atmospheric river is going to be pointed. But as a result, the National Weather Service for all of these areas in green has issued a flood watch for Friday through Sunday evening. This rain that we're going to see may lead to rises in creeks, streams, and rivers. So let's show you what the forecast is going for. I have to go over to my computer now and show you and get a little bit more interactive here. We're going to start with the Sacramento River here. I'm going to take you right down here. I have to kind of click on it. Now, there's the Sacramento River to Tehama Bridge. The forecast crest stage is still below flood stage. But you can see we're getting into, areas of concern. Let's take you out near Chico. I believe it's this one. No, it's the next one down. Let's go ahead and click on that. Yes, Ord Ferry, also expected to crest on Tuesday, but staying below the flood stage. Let's take you out to Eel River. Same situation. It's expected to crest on Tuesday of next week. It's getting closer to the minor flood stage, but not quite there. Now, here's the thing. When we're looking at these numbers, keep in mind that these numbers are going to change. We may eventually start seeing some oranges on the maps here once the rain kicks in, because the thing is we're looking at a forecast now. The rain hasn't occurred just yet. But once the rain comes and we start feeling the impacts of that rain and then see what's coming ahead, then we can get a better idea what's going to happen. So as of right now, based on the forecast, there is no area of minor flooding, but we're still looking at that potential as we go into the next few days here. All right, let me see if I can figure this out and why it's not working properly. We'll get it to work properly here. There we go. Let's go ahead and go into the rain totals now. So this is the rain totals on our Futurecast here through Saturday night. I think we'll see over an inch for parts of the valley here. Heavier rainfall concentrated down to the south and east. Less rainfall to the north and east. And then, of course, more, especially out towards Del Norte County. Now we're going to take a look at the long range, the GFS, the American Forecast Model, and see what it has through Monday. Because again, I think the main event will be through Monday night. Then after that, it's scattered showers. So again, the concentration down to the south and east, pretty good representation off to the north and west. I think some of these numbers may be higher, quite honestly, as we go into Monday. But look at Redding, could see up to 2 inches of rain, maybe over 2.5 inches of rain for Chico. I mean, even Red Bluff and Willow's looking pretty good. And these numbers will probably be higher as well, but you get the idea, just not as much rainfall there either. One last thing we need to talk about, and that's the winds. You'll notice it, especially out towards central Siskiyou County and along the coast. Could we see some power outages? Sure, it's a possibility. By Friday afternoon, though, the winds start to die down for the coast. Now they're a bit stronger in the valley, 25, 30 miles per hour, gusty off to the east. Then we go into Saturday. Strongest winds will actually be some of the higher elevations here to the east, but not as bad to the west or the valley for that matter. And that continues into Saturday night. Saturday night, the wind's much calmer, still a bit breezy off to the east in some areas. So the main wind event is going to be Friday, basically, and then probably lingering into Saturday morning in some areas. The wave heights actually increase a bit for Friday, and then they kind of retreat by Friday afternoon. After that, then we go through the day on Saturday, those wave heights kick back in again. So I think we're going to start seeing some small craft advisories here for tomorrow and for Saturday eventually. All right, so here's what we have in store for us tonight. Not as cold as it has been. Again, why? Added cloud cover, rain moving in, temperature's not as cold. I mean, still cold, still below freezing, and that's why we'll see some snow for some of the higher elevations, but the coast, temperatures there will be in the low 40s. So here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. There you can see the off and on chances for rain. So again, main event Monday, then chances for rain as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By the way, much colder on Tuesday, Wednesday. We could possibly see some snowflakes for places like Weaverville and Hayfork. Here's your North Coast neighborhood forecast to the south, 55 degrees for Eureka, 54 in Garberville. Rain will be heaviest off and on Friday through Monday. Chance for scattered showers here and unsettled weather here for Tuesday through Thursday of next week. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, 45 in Gazelle, 40 in Weed, 38 for McLeod, 41 in Doris. Here's your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. Canby, 42 for your Friday, 43 in California Pines. Snow levels 4,500 feet on Friday, up to 6,000 feet over the weekend. Here's your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, 40s, even around 50 for Paradise. Snow levels in Susanville, 4,000 feet Friday, 6,000 feet over the weekend, and they drop significantly by Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamith Painting. Temperatures will be cooler. I think some of us may struggle to get out of the 40s for your daytime highs in the valley. Otherwise, right around 50, give or take. Here's your 7-day forecast for Chico. There, of course, is that wet weather here through Monday, even into Tuesday, and then scattered showers for Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures are also going to increase going into the weekend, averaging out somewhere in the mid-50s through most of next week. Let's take you up to the north. Your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamith Painting. Your temperatures will be in the upper 40s for about 49 for Redding, all the way down to Red Bluff, 44 in Lakehead, and Whiskeytown, about 45 degrees. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. Kind of the same situation here, right? We've got the off and on rain here through Monday, Tuesday, basically off and on showers here, unsettled through most of next week. Temperatures starting off cool with the storm system, but then the cooler air mixes out. Temperatures increasing, averaging out in the low to mid 50s through most of next week for Redding. That's your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Krueger with the latest. And of course, we'll be looking at the chain requirements, the works. That's all live at 7 a.m. on Coffee with Krueger. We'll see you then.
Barr & Mudford is a top established firm here in the North State. Founded over a half-century ago, Barr & Mudford is protecting the rights of our neighbors and community. We take our commitment to our clients very seriously and provide a level of excellence unrivaled in the North State. Barr & Mudford, standing up for the rights of our neighbors and our beautiful community, serving Northern California with excellence.